This is the game here. It's a hex game based tile placing puzzle type game where you're going to be basically placing tiles that have to match up next to other tiles in order to score a certain amount of points based off of certain things that you do. Whenever you start a new game, this is what you get. You get a stack of tiles, and you have to place the top tile in your stack every single time it pops up. This is a water tile, so I'm just going to place it there. Boom. Now this one came with a little score on top of it. See that 2? That means that if I were to add 2 more tiles that are water-based next to it, then I get a bunch of points. And I get some extra tiles added to my stack. The idea is to build as big of a landmass as you can and score the most points before your stack of tiles runs out. Now, certain tiles have to attach to certain, like the edges have to attach. So railroads, for example, if I put this down here, see where those 2 railroad edges are? They have to match up with other railroads. Railroads and rivers and water is the most restrictive in that sense. Everything else, you know, forests don't have to match with other forests. Plains and grass and towns don't have to match. Usually, if you do match them up, you have a better chance of making more points. You just use the mouse to place tiles wherever you want. The game will forbid you from placing tiles anywhere that you can't legally place them. Like, I can't put this tile at the top of my stack here or here because this needs a railroad to connect to it. But I do want to kind of put it in a spot where I can build out from these houses. Like, these houses are basically tied to these 2 edges. So I want to make sure that I don't like lock these 2 edges off. Because if I lock these 2 edges off like this, then I lose the ability to try and get that point score thing. So I'm going to build it like this, and we'll build out from it. So the next tile I have is a bunch of houses. So if I attach these to the houses I already have down, you see that point total goes down. Once it hits 0, then I get the points for it, and I get some extra tiles in my stack. As I'm rotating it, you'll notice that the forests are highlighted whenever they're actually connected. It takes a little bit of time, and you have to sort of get used to how the game connects things. The highlights are usually there to help you along with that. Next up, we've got trees and a river. I'm going to attach the river to my lake here because I want to get this score down. There's another railroad track, so I'll add that to my railroad here. This one comes with its own quest, and we've got a city one here that also comes with its own quest. So if I attach these houses to here, then the houses on this tile will add to this score, and the houses that are already there will add to the score on the tile I'm about to put down. So that's a win-win situation there. So I will get points for placing this from both of those scores. So if I throw this down, I get 200 points for completing both of those quests and a bunch of tiles in my stack. And that's the idea. You want to keep adding tiles to your stack because you want to keep building and get your score up as high as you can. Can you match the trees and the houses? They won't combine if that's what you're asking. And trees won't count towards a housing score, and houses won't count towards a tree score. There's nothing stopping you from putting houses and trees next to each other in whatever orientation you want. The only hard limits you have for what tiles you can put down, rivers have to be attached to other rivers, and railroads have to be attached to other railroads. That's it. Anything else, you can do whatever you want. It's just a matter of attaching things in an efficient way to get you more points. A tile like this, for example, like I have right here that I'm about to put down, has some forest on it, but it has forests that are kind of the end. So if I were to put it here, that would seal off this end of this forest. So I wouldn't be able to build this forest down in this direction any further. So you can also contain a forest or a town or whatever by sealing it off on all sides. And you get bonus points for doing that. Now, you might screw yourself out of like completing a score quest, but you do get bonus points for sealing off binomes. Then we've got this next one. This one's got a forest quest on it, so I want to attach this to whatever forests I have. And notice that if I attach it to the forests that are already there, it just automatically completes because of all the forests I've already laid down that are already all connected to each other. So I can throw that down. I automatically get the points, and I already automatically get the tiles. The game will automatically change the terrain to match whatever your decisions are, as long as you're placing a tile where it legally can go. So by the time you have a lot of tiles thrown down, you'll have built this really beautiful looking landscape of rivers and forests and towns and whatnot. And it's got that sort of puzzle builder aspect to it as well, where you can sort of marvel at what you've created after you spend some time building everything. Oh boy, these are always tricky. Railroads and rivers that split can sometimes throw a wrench into your design plans. If I don't want to make this rail track here too complicated, I could always just start a fresh railroad somewhere else. I try not to build my railroads and my rivers too close to each other because they can't cross each other unless you get one of those, I think it's a water tunnel tiles, and those are rare. Like, you can't sort through your deck and find the tiles that are ideal. You have to just place every tile as it comes to you. Tiles are always randomized. There's no undo in this game. So once you place something down, it's there and you just have to deal with it after the fact. But you never really run into too many situations where you're just like hard locked out of doing something, because there's always just another edge that you can just add tiles onto and just build off in another direction. The trick is trying to get a better score. So it's got kind of an arcade feel to it, like the most low-key, low-energy arcade game you'll ever play, you know? Very easy to control the map, too. Like, you just hold right-click and you can rotate the map. You can move the map around with either WASD, or you can just click out in the middle of nowhere and click and drag the map around. You can use your mouse wheels to zoom in and out. Or if you have a tile place, you can use the mouse wheel to rotate the tile. It's very, very easy to control this game. Where things can get a little tricky is that you'll notice on all these quest tiles, they all say 3+, 1+, 2+, and so on. That means that you have to get the number down to 0 or below. Sometimes you'll find quest tiles that have just a number without a plus. That means that you have to get it exactly to 0. You can't go less than 0, because otherwise you don't get the quest. This town tile that we have is one of those ones I was talking about that doesn't have a plus next to the number, so we have to attach it somewhere where there's exactly 13 houses. So I can't attach it to this big village that I've just been building down here because there's more than 13 houses in that village, and I won't get the points for that tile. So what I'd rather do instead is start a new village somewhere else where I can build out from it. So over here, there's one house. If I attach it to that, it goes from 13 down to 12, and then I can start building out from that. Or I could just start this as a brand new clump of houses somewhere else if I wanted to. Another town tile. This one has a plus in its number, so I can attach that to my big town over here. And that's actually an efficient way to do it, because all the work that I've put into building this big clump of houses over here can take this 34 down to a 7 by placing one tile. And it also gets me this one as well. And then we have another 34 that I can just attach. I'm just comboing these quests one after each another. Now this ocean tile has a 4 next to it, and it doesn't have a plus, which means I need to attach 4 river or ocean tiles, exactly 4. If I attach more than 4, like if I put it anywhere along here, there's way more than 4 ocean tiles connected to it, and I'll lose that score bonus. So it's better off if I just start this one fresh somewhere else that I can build off, like somewhere over here, I think. Now see here, there's that forest I was telling you. This one forest needs 175 trees. But you'll notice it still has a plus on it, which means I can attach it to whatever the biggest clump of forests I have is. That brings that from 175 down to 32. Always build your forests to be as big as they possibly can be. Ooh, now that's handy. We got a little bit of a river curve that seals that off, and it attaches to some plains. So extra points for that. We see a flag here. What this is after you complete a quest, you have a chance to get bonus points from this tile, from this flag, if you seal off the collection of houses that it's attached to. So in this case, when you hover over the flag, it shows you all the loose ends that still need to be sealed off before you can get the bonus points from this. So I'm going to seal that off as best I can with houses here. Like that. So that gets me an extra 50 points because I sealed off this clump of houses here. Once you get your land size to a certain size, eventually around the far edges, you might see these ghosted tiles. The idea with these ghost tiles is you want to try and build out to it. Because once you get to it, then you unlock a new tile for future runs. But we're down to our last tile. That's it. So I got a score of 6,800. My high score, 8,840. And those of you who know where to find my Discord, if you join my Discord, we have a channel on there where we play games casually off the stream every now and then. There's been a lot of high score screen shares on that, so it doesn't exactly have a leaderboard system in the game, but if you share your screen shares with all your friends, you can try to get your best score that you can. And it's got a nice balance, I think, this game, where you play it mostly just casually, just to relax or whatever, but you also kind of play towards certain low-key scores to try and get high scores and win and whatnot. And Tricky's already posted a screenshot of a score of over 10,000, which I think is the highest score I've seen any of the collection posts so far. So